Well,
We're
hello
live.
there, everyone. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we talk about all of our favorite nerdy news from the prior week. And that's the first half of the show. The second half of the show is where we answer questions from you all, the people, whether you're sending it in to our email or you are participating live in Twitch when this is being recorded live on twitch.tv/nerdon. We don't introduce ourselves on this show, but we just jump straight into the news, and Tom's going to start us off.
There it is.
Hello. Thank you for my introduction, Caitlin. The news. Of course, Corey likes me to be consistent. So today, in this corner of the world, the correspondent of the DC Blah.
Thank you.
Or
Coming to you live from DC.
Blah. Or
Check is in the mail, Tom.
for those, thank you. I appreciate it. It helps me. Those who know the coherent way is the DC boy. This week was a pretty big week. Because as nerds, we all got fed. Big
old Thanksgiving dinner of snack ciderness.
Wow.
Sparkling Zack Snyders.
I was trying to find a food that sounds like Snyder and I couldn't come up with one.
Nah.
Sparkling apple Snyder.
Yeah.
There you go.
It is.
Whether you watch the Snyder Cut or you're interested in the next Disney Plus show, that also came out this week too. So, but for me, in this, I'm going to just celebrate this because it's more of like it's not written in stone if it's going to happen, but the response from general audience overall in the world, like the Zack Snyder Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, they prefer the Snyder Cut, and it's a interesting cautionary tale of being able to see like this is how one product is in 2017 versus another product in 2021. That being said, there's a lot of questions of quote unquote hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Yes, sir.
And what does that rallying cry mean? Is it more for Zack to continue these stories or for these characters to get their own stories told? There's a lot of characters that are cut out of the theatrical. I'm going to keep it spoiler free for those who haven't watched it yet. But a lot of characters that were introduced in this film or had better spotlights, a lot of people are now rallying for continuations of those characters in other stories, whether it be a cameo into future films that have been announced, like Flash or a third Wonder Woman film, X, Y, and Z. But yes, the cry out for restore the Snyderverse is now a thing. The audience is how would you say over the moon for the film, and critics for the most part are the most positive they've ever been for a Zack Snyder film since maybe 300, which is wild. It was Dawn of the Dead, 300, and then I believe Watchmen.
I always forget Dawn of the Dead, man.
Yeah.
I never when I think Zack Snyder, when they're like, well, which films do you like? I'm like, well, 300, but Dawn of the Dead was like, zombies can run.
You know who wrote that, right?
Shit. No.
James Gunn.
Nice.
Wow. So yeah, it's wild. And this is Dawn of the Dead remake. George A. Romero. Obviously, we have to take the mother's milk of like where it came from. But yeah, Legend, the Guardians of Ga'Hoole and Sucker Punch. All those were critically panned, but they made a lot of money. And this is the first time that we won't know the budget or the box office because it was purely released on HBO Max. So it's all going to be about streamer numbers and whether that means that these characters find a new home on HBO Max in this Snyderverse, because it's been all but said officially from Warner Brothers Pictures that 2017 is canon. This is not canon in the DCEU. And this
They may go back on that.
let me say this one last bit.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
have some feelings.
And also, all but said that this film is a cul-de-sac. There are no roads that lead from it. But we also lived in a world where maybe a good chunk portion of the internet, maybe like almost 60% of the internet said this cut does not exist. This film will never happen. This is not how the industry works. And here we are, baby, a year later, and also like indoors, also game stonks, also so much has happened that really taught us that like things can happen. We are in the wild, wild west.
We really are.
So yes, hashtag the Snyderverse for me. I'm not going to browbeat anyone that they should be a part of it, but yeah, if there's one thing, and
except me, he was really aggressive about it towards me.
Yes,
privately.
always aggressive. But that's all I'm going to say is that people like it. If you want to read reviews, sure. If you want to experience for yourself, go ahead. But yeah, people are generally liking it, and it is causing some conversations to happen because you can't ignore that if there's money on the table that they won't continue to pursue this.
Yeah.
Does it come out as a mini series on HBO Max? Who knows? But
I mean, because Zack Snyder has said he wants to continue
yes,
the rest of his story.
yes. So. Yeah, that is me.
I'll continue the superhero news.
Yes,
Tom.
please.
Do it.
So there is a new series coming out called The United States of Captain America. It is going to be written by Christopher Cantwell, who did Doctor Doom. The artist will be Dale Eaglesham, something like Fantastic Four fame. But it's a big crossover story. And it's going to have 4 of the previous Captain Americas teaming up. We're going to have Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes, and John Walker as they traverse the United States looking for Steve's missing shield. Along the way, we're going to have different stories that relate to each of them. But a big thing that's happening within the story, or that's slated to happen, is that they are going to meet different American citizens who don't necessarily have powers, who have taken up their mantle or their symbol in a effort to fight back and help those who need it the most. One of those people we are going to meet is going to be the first LGBTQ Captain America to pick up the mantle. It's going to be known as Captain America: The Railways. He is going to stand for runaways, those who have been kind of forgotten by society or kind of left aside. I haven't read a Captain America comic in a
minute
standalone for a long time.
They're wonderful.
But this character, Aaron Fischer, has got me really intrigued. Not only that, but the story itself about the 4 Captain Americas sounds very interesting to me as well. Oop, I lost my note page. Here we go. The character of Aaron Fischer was created by Aaron Trujillo, who is known for X-Force, I believe. No, sorry. Jan Balzaldia. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly.
Oh my.
A lot of vowels that I'm not, my mouth cannot make culturally. I'm not great at that kind of stuff. I wish I was. But known for X-Force, created the character in a hope that, much like the Captain America symbol gives people hope, that this character will as well. So definitely going to check that out. I'm very excited.
Dope.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Josh.
I will go.
Sweet.
Do it. Next. Next.
I'll go next.
I'll go next.
Look, me not being able to pronounce things shouldn't mean you can't either.
Yeah. My news comes from Square Enix. This past on the 18th was the Square Enix showcase, and they announced a new game in the Life is Strange series called Life is Strange: True Colors. The main character is Alex Chen, and her powers involve emotion, specifically empathy. I watched the trailer.
Eyes.
It looks beautiful. But they also announced that they are releasing the Life is Strange Remastered Collection, which will include Life is Strange and Before the Storm, stating that players will have an improved experience with improved visuals, and I'm sure there will be other stuff and things happening. I love the Life is Strange games. I thought they were beautiful games, beautiful experiences. But I also wanted to bring some Fallout Friday Feels news.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Chad, a Fallout 76 story, go check it out, posted something on Reddit, and basically what it was basically in the Fallout 76 subreddit was just a way of kind of expressing positivity, having people share their stories. And one thing about Fallout 76 that has become kind of its thing over the years in its community is that strangers are meeting and forming relationships that are to the level of best friends. Even people have met their significant others via this game. And Chad basically the host is Ken, was going through and asking people to share their stories, and it's really quite beautiful. Everybody, their stories that they've been telling of people that they've met, wives, girlfriends, all these different things of how they've met through Fallout 76. And I commented, like, some of my new best friends I met via Fallout 76, and we meet every single day. We call ourselves the fake family, and whether we're playing Fallout or just meeting on party chat to play separate games, it's just an amazing community, and I just can't speak highly enough of them. So that's my news. Shall we go on to the next part of the show? Questions?
Yeah. I wanna rectify Jan Bazalduya, so it doesn't get mixed up in my mouth. Yeah. I want to make sure that we get the actual name out there.
I do actually have a little tidbit though. So the PlayStation Play at Home, Sony is doing a Play at Home thing where they released Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted last year, and this time they wanted to do more, so they're actually doing March through June, and they're going to be giving away Horizon Zero Dawn and 9 other games for PlayStation 4, 5, and PlayStation VR users. You don't need a PlayStation Plus subscription to get them. So Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition is going to be available from April 19th to May 14th. But you can still get Ratchet and Clank. Let me think. The other games were Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, Res Infinite, Subnautica, The Witness. For console, for VR, you can get Astro Bot Rescue Mission, Moss Thumper, and Paper Beast. And those are going to be available through April 22nd at 8 p.m. PDT. So if you want free games, now's a good time to go get them.
Horizon Zero Dawn is by far probably one of my favorite games ever. It's such a beautiful game, and I say, get it, play it, do the thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for your not news, Caitlin. Thank you.
This is the news to me.
No, I'm just kidding.
So the next part of our show is in which we answer questions from you, the audience, whether you're listening via your favorite podcast app or watching on Twitch or whether you're on YouTube. We answer your questions, and you can submit them at questions@nerdon.tv, or you can go to nerdon.tv/questions. You can also get on the Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord, and there are channels within there that you can submit your questions. And if you are a member of the Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon, you do get what we call the Nerd On Nudge, in which your questions are answered first. And we save all of them. Like, we have a document that, since we've started going live, just keeps growing and growing and growing of questions.
Truth.
And
Feed me.
Feed me, Tom says. Feed me, Seymour. And so you can ask any question, like Spencer. Shout out to Spencer.
Shout out.
What is the movie that is guaranteed to make you cry?
Good question.
This is embarrassing. I got it.
Okay.
I don't think I've cried a lot of films anymore. Like, I've cried for sure, like when My Joe Young happened, like that made me cry as a kid. And there's been later films that made me cry, but like there hasn't been films that make me cry multiple times. But one film that always gets me choked up, and like I get glassy-eyed, and at least a tear formulates. It's because you kind of expect it, but like if it hurts it, or you feel it, you feel it. And it's something that we've covered quite recently, and that's BVS, Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition, Dawn of Justice, and it's when. Spoilers, everyone who hasn't watched it. This is in theatrical too, so it's fine. It's when Superman meets his untimely demise, and there's a reverse shot between Wonder Woman and Lois Lane, and that always gets me. Like,
Safe now.
There's a music. It's impactful for me. And then the kind of just the loss of a person in their life, and then when it's reflected by someone who's also like, you don't know anything about them, but you could tell that they've experienced that, or they're channeling that part as a performance, and you're like, it gets me choked up. It gets me choked up every time. So that's me. That's my answer. Who's next?
I'm
That's a
thinking.
good question. I don't know if I know it off the top of my head.
I think it's called Your Name. It's an anime movie. Yes, Your Name. Two teenagers share a profound magical connection upon discovering they are swapping bodies. Things manage to become even more complicated when the boy and the girl decide to meet in person.
That's the one that like made all the money,
me.
right?
Yeah, it's really good and will make you feel your feelings. Also, Spirited Away is another one that usually gets me.
Don't say that. Ghibli love.
Too late.
I mean, one that used to make me always cry. Please don't judge me. Armageddon.
Oh.
When they're saying goodbye on the screen, because I got this dad thing that just anyway.
Don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep.
Judgment.
'Cause you remain.
Yeah. Anything dog related. Anything animal related is going to make me cry.
Don't watch A
Like-
Dog's Life.
Huh? Yeah, Dog's
mind.
Life. That's guaranteed.
Dog's Life. Marley and Me.
Guaranteed to make me cry. Even like the Homeward Bound movies, like
Oh,
just
When Shadow comes back at the end. Oh, Peter, I missed you.
Corey,
It's
what's yours?
goddamn. I don't know. I'll get choked up at certain movies, but there's nothing that's guaranteed.
Yeah, it's tough.
Nothing is guaranteed to.
which
I
one
don't
have you
cry
cried
a
at the most
lot.
often?
That's the thing. Sometimes I'll cry in the moment mostly if I get teared up in a movie, it's when I don't expect something. So once I've seen a movie,
Then you
I
expect
don't really.
Then you know. Yeah.
Like, I remember getting teared up in Endgame when all the portals open, and but since then, I'm stoked about it. But no, I'm just dead inside. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that
Can't
makes
confirm.
sense.
for a long time.
2021.
Next.
But if there's dad stuff in a movie I haven't seen, that's probably going to be it.
Okay.
yeah.
Dad stuff.
Supernatural?
Dad stuff.
I haven't cried at Supernatural.
He's
but
still
it's all
crying.
really good.
Next question, I'm actually going to jump down a little bit just because it's related. Comes from Gamer Fuji. Shout out.
Oh.
She says, related question: what is a movie /show /game /etc. you didn't expect would make you cry but did?
Legend of the Dragoon.
Oh,
That was
okay.
quick. That was.
I know exactly the scene. I know exactly the moment. I wasn't expecting it, and I was just gut punched.
The game?
So, yeah. I
That
was not
needs-
ready for a moment.
That
in
needs
there.
a remaster, re-release.
So bad.
So hard. Oh my God.
So bad. But yeah. For sure.
I know one show that was really unexpected for me, and for Batman vs Superman, it's very easy because it's like I have a bias, and I know it works on me. But one that I did not expect was the first episode of My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay.
And is it the first? Yeah, it's the first, right?
Yeah, when he gets
Probably.
or
the scene
it's,
where he's
it's the
like,
point where All Might says like Midoriya. It's like you are.
I choose you.
It's like he's like you will inherit
Young
these powers.
Midoriya.
And it's-
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and it's that moment that Deku's just like,
Can I be a hero without powers?
I've worked so hard and this is all I've ever wanted, and I'll just continue being a good person. And then my hero in my life has chosen me to take up his mantle. And again, it's just so much good emotional expectations and gearing of like, he's going to become a hero into this world, but it's the validation, the emotional stake of like him being validated that like his good heart has given him this karma that like, yeah, like you are the best person to be this person. And it's like, I was like, oh my God. And when he cries, it's just like, oh my, it gets me. Corey, Josh?
I'll go.
I'm not good at these questions.
I'm gonna cry.
A more
don't feel.
recent one was Honey Boy.
Oh,
Shia LaBeouf
Tom.
isn't an amazing person, but that movie, the story that it tells, and to me, that movie brought an awareness that I don't think society knows of, and what trauma is and what it looks like, and PTSD, what that looks like, and how it's not just this thing. There's a lot to it, trauma, and there are a lot of things that really, really spoke to me personally that just, I saw it at the Lemley in Pasadena, and I was just like, Bonnie and I were the only ones there, and I was just like, ah! It was just, I didn't expect it because I didn't know exactly what I was going into. I just knew that I wanted to see this movie, and I just was like, Corey? You don't cry.
I'm really not good at this. No.
Corey doesn't have any emotions for any media ever.
I do. I just, they're not outward emotions. I think about things a lot. And so it's bad. I mean, there's spoiler stuff for Justice League I could talk about.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just cry sometimes. You don't cry, Lord of the Rings? No. I've seen it too many times. I don't know. I don't cry a lot.
I want to throw.
That's such a bullshit answer to a great question, but sometimes I'll listen to songs in the car, but like that doesn't make sense. Like I'll be listening to like, sometimes it makes sense. Like sometimes like Halo will come on by Beyonce, and it's not about how beautiful the lyrics of the song is. It just like is like that just sounds like it feels good to that
Cry to.
Singing feels good for her. Like I can tell that just feels good to do. But then I'll listen to like Eminem's Soldier, and that makes me like, I'm just like, this is such a good piece of art. It has nothing to do with
That's the answer. Well, unexpected. It's fine. It's okay. You did fine, Corey. It's okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Good job,
I'm
buddy.
gonna cry right now.
Good boy.
While streaming. Also, but in video games too. Like there's a chock full watch. I was like, how is a pixel person making me cry? You know, like
Emotions.
I for sure cried at Gone Home, and I cried at Life
Gone
is
Home,
Strange. Life is Strange definitely made me cry for sure. Because Life is Strange hijacks you and be like, you remember your angsty teen years? Well, here it all is. I'm like, so that's me. Next,
last pre-selected question comes from Tommy Stark.
Premeditated question.
Premeditated questions. Just wanted to get your opinion. What if all of Stan Lee's cameos in the MCU were actually Skrulls? I had hoped this were true and would have been revealed in Captain Marvel, but...
Scrolls. Oh. Good question. Skrull.
They're the
I was like,
SKRULL.
scrolls? Like a scroll of paper?
Yeah, like
Stan
Lee.
Skrull.
That's why I'm so confused.
In my opinion,
Skrulls. Got it.
if Stanley's cameos were actually Skrulls, sure.
He was a watcher, though.
The most
They describe
impressive.
they retconned it to him being a watcher,
Sure.
which I think is a more fun.
Oh.
It's to me, and I was actually having a conversation with
And don't you shore me? That's what I'm just saying a fact.
well, you know, my thing is just sure because I was talking with Will about this because I was talking about like, what if you were in a plane and then the blip happened? Like, do you just I'm in the sky, or is it like, well, you were back to where you would normally be? It's like, so Hulk had enough in him to be like, I know where to put people, but he couldn't bring back Natasha. So that was the kind of the thing where I was just like, there's a lot of wishy-washy world building in that, and I'm not trying to poke holes, and I'm okay with it, and it's like, it works. If he's a watcher, sure. If Stanley's a Skrull, sure. But it doesn't do anything with it, then it doesn't matter. Then it's fine.
No, but we're answering a question.
It can live, and so it's like, sure.
So
that's where I'm like, sure.
yeah.
That's where I'm at. It's like,
Next time you say a fact, I'm just gonna go sure.
yeah, sure. I mean,
It hurts, Tom. It hurts.
Sure.
well, does it hurt, Corey?
I don't know what kind of opinion to have about it because I feel like I don't know the deep lore stuff in connection with the scroll. Like I only know what I know from the movies, really. So it's like I would want more information if that was the case. I would want more story if that was what that was. But I like the I like the idea of him being a watcher
The
more.
implication.
Yeah, him being a watcher, I like more for sure.
Yeah.
cool.
Josh?
I really thought you were going to go, sure.
Sure. No, I would be okay with that. I obviously would want some explanation because the scrolls have become, I mean, there's even a reference in a recent Disney Plus series that I'm like, what if? Like, but I would definitely want, like, I wouldn't want it to be like, hey, by the way. It would be more like, hey, here's an explanation. Like that kind of thing. I think kind of in the same line of what you were saying, Kaylin. Just don't just throw it at me. Give me some.
I want to be clear because Corey has called a point of like, it's a question. So for me, the sure is kind of like, if it works, it works. That's fine. If it's going to actually play in the story, then I'll like care if it has like a world building aspect. But it's like, you could say Steve Rogers like was a virgin. I'm like, sure. Like if you want it to be, that's up to you. It's in your headcanon. Like Mark Hamill says, like, if Luke Skywalker in your headcanon is gay, then he's gay. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change how you want it to be. And you can have those fun, enjoyable, imaginative things.
Was Steve a pallbearer at Peggy's funeral? Sure.
Why, sure.
Because it's a fact, Corey.
No, that one's not a fact.
Steve wasn't?
No.
He didn't carry the thing?
You know what they answered? Why not?
Oh, sure.
That was less of it. It's not in the movies. Like the Watcher thing is in the movies.
Note that this will be back.
There's a whole scene about it.
For sure.
Sure. Next question.
So now we'll answer questions from the chat, and everyone's already like going hard in the paint. For
yes, I love it.
So
More questions.
I want to answer a question real quick because I don't think I've seen a question from Toasty Gawa in a while.
Toasty.
So all right, and also I want to talk about this. All right, everybody, but mostly Caitlin. Try to bring it to everyone. Try to bring it to everyone, please. But
Just
also
me.
Josh, cardioid condenser ribbon for vocals. I have no idea what this. So
You don't want to know what the funny thing is? Is like, this is actually a question for Josh.
For Josh,
I'm in voiceover, but all voiceover people go to their audio engineers and go, what should I get? Because like, I kind of know cardioid condenser ribbon, but
So
if
Josh,
I was to ask that question, I'd be like,
Dynamic,
hey, Josh, so
Well, this depends. In a studio environment, I personally would tell you to get a cardioid condenser microphone. Ribbon microphones are really expensive, and there's a lot more to them in terms of running them and making sure that they sound good. They're wonderful because a lot of times you're going to get some beautiful vintage like ribbon microphones. If it's a stage, like if it's a live show, totally a dynamic, because dynamic microphones like an SM58, those things are fucking tanks.
You could drop the shit out of that thing like 10 times in your show,
but-
which people don't.
Well, I mean, which people do.
Yeah, people twirl them around.
Yeah. That's why sometimes you see those horror pictures of like an SM58, like half of it's just like bent it in. And you're like,
oh Jesus,
no.
Yeah.
No. No.
I played with one of those for a year and a half before I could afford another one. So it happened.
But here's the thing, the great like mystery or
fine.
catch-22 to that is like one of the most popular vocal microphones on the planet is an SM7B, which is what we normally use when we're live, which I have a bunch up there. It has been like the most popular vocal microphone for decades. Like I think it was first used on a Michael Jackson record, and
wow.
since then it's been like, that's the vocal
the
microphone.
thing.
But I mean, you also have like a Neumann 87, which is not a dynamic, it's a condenser, but it is of the sexy, but it's also
yes. Yeah.
$4,000 to $6,000. So there's that.
And something else to keep in mind that I have learned with getting a microphone, if you're specifically looking to do voiceover work, there's like the industry standard, which they want you to have like a TLM03 or U87. And then there's also, so that's like what the industry wants you to have. And then there's like, or the MK416, I think it is like that shotgun mic.
Yeah.
But then there's also like what microphone actually picks up your specific voice well.
Yeah.
Because that's also something to take into account that you won't really know until you know your voice, what it does, what those microphones are, what they do. So it's like and that's one of those things where I don't know that kind of information. So I go to my audio engineer friends and I go, what microphone do you think my voice would be best with? And then the audio engineer will say like, oh, this one or this one. For the industry standards, it'll be this kind of thing or that kind of thing.
Well, and sometimes you want to experiment because you won't know. Like if you're lucky enough to be able to
experiment,
like, I mean, do it. Like try, because I know a friend that he loves the AKGs. I don't remember what their actual number is, but he loves those on vocals instead of what everybody else uses. So I mean, it's also what you think sounds good. But oftentimes voiceover, they'll tell you specifically like, no, this is what we want.
TLM03, U87,
Yep.
MK416.
So
Those
everyone, I hope
are
you guys
Apogee hype mic.
Apogee hype mic.
hope
for
everyone enjoyed
auditions
that
in your car.
extended audio lesson, everyone.
Yeah.
But reach out to them on where? The Discord, right?
The
Discord.
So
Discord.
do that. And also, so the next question is from Black Diablo Mamba.
Mamba.
Question:
Mamba.
If it's not too personal, one of your phobias, and who would you switch them with?
What?
Ooh.
Oh, what is your phobia and would you want to switch with any? What?
Oh, man.
Okay. One of your phobias, and who would you switch with?
Like
Switch-
among us.
switch- I get it
So
now.
we're all going to say our
That's what I was
phobias
gonna
and then
ask,
see who
yeah.
we'd-
So,
I
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for
have a
it.
fear of heights.
You're afraid
I
of
hate
heights.
being up high. I hate it. I can do it. Like I remember climbing this incredibly tall fire tower, but I like all the blood had drained out of my body and my legs were shaking as I went to the top.
Ooh.
Because the wind was like blowing it.
Corey, sound like you had one?
No, I was gonna say we did an episode on our phobias. I think
Did we?
It was either an extra or a minute
It
or
was an
something.
extra, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't really have any phobias.
Phobia.
I don't want to be buried alive, but I feel like that should just be a general
Fear.
survival thing.
Just so everyone knows, phobia should be a quote unquote an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Or like a fear that goes to an
Like
extent
it
of like
affects
debilitating.
you physically.
Like you should be afraid of or have some apprehension towards spiders or heights in the dark. Like that keeps us surviving. But to the point where you avoid it at all costs, that's the phobia level.
Yeah.
So if in that sense of any phobia that I have is the fear of failing myself that's probably the most irrational why I work myself to the bone as much as I can or continue to be like, no, it's okay. I'll take care of it because I don't want to fail the thing that, it's been put up to do. So that's
Well, I
one
mean,
thing.
case in point, I can quote you on one of our shows a few weeks ago in which you said if you don't achieve by the age of 30,
Oh,
You are
if he doesn't
quitting.
make a movie,
Yeah.
if he doesn't make a
Fully
feature film,
quitting.
by the time he's 30, he's quitting everything.
Over it.
Yeah.
Josh?
That's a good one.
For me, I have a literal irrational fear of spiders.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It doesn't, but it's complicated because if I find one in my house, I'm still like a nature guy. Where I'm like, okay, listen, I'm gonna try to get you out of my house the safest way I possibly can. But if I feel a spider web, if there's a spider on me, it's irrational.
The
my
long
reaction.
pause.
Whereas my wife's like, really? It's irrational.
So if I
And the
send you
dark.
all those creepy spider videos,
Yeah. And the dark. I'm afraid of the dark. My mind starts filling in irrational things that are in the dark. And it's so silly.
and to the
But-
second part of that question, who would you switch them with? I wouldn't switch it with anybody because I don't wish that upon anyone. My phobia in particular.
I
'Cause
mean,
it's
I feel like we share that one as well, though, because
Be selfish, though, Tom.
Yeah.
I'll give it to
Switch it with
then I'll give it to Mr. No Fear over there, Corey.
It's not saying I don't
Here's
have
some fear
fear.
for
I'm going to
you.
give all my fears to Corey.
I have
Yeah, we're all
fears.
gonna
I just-
switch with Corey.
I wouldn't describe any of them as irrational. That's all.
Yeah, mine is pretty irrational.
I had you know what? For a month straight, I had basically heart hiccups. And I thought I was going to die every day. And ever since then,
Jeez.
nothing else has really felt scary than waking up and going to sleep being like, wow, this could be it. This could be the end.
That's intense.
Yeah. I could feel every heart. It was every 45 seconds to a minute. I could feel my heart hiccup
Whoa.
all day for about a month. I mean, you guys were there for it. We did Black Panther. There's an episode of, if you listen to our Black Panther episode, I barely talk at all because I was feeling my heart
Hiccup.
beat differently. So ever since then, I've just been like, it's all gravy, baby. It's all good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next question. Again, y'all, I know y'all love individual hosts, but try to make the questions for everyone. We all like to play. Caitlin, how's the booth? This is from Talon of the Dragon.
Oh yeah. There's been a massive change in scenery behind me.
Answering the question, how's the booth?
It's great. It's wonderful. It's quite soundproof. I have sat in there in the dark a couple of times just because it actually blocks out so much sound that it's great. It is a little tight in here, but overall it has been a lifesaver. So it's wonderful.
Josh, how much time we have left for questions?
I'd say let's do like 2 more.
2 more, perfect. Okay, this is from Nate Hawk, 1989. This I think comes from last week. Do y'all ever just become friends with fans? LOL. Hope this is not a weird question. No, I don't think it's a weird question at all.
No.
Yeah, I think and that's I think what the Discord is for. Like, I'll be 100% honest. I hate the word fan. I absolutely hate the word fan of anything that connects to me, what I do, because I like listeners. I like audience members. I like participants. I like something that doesn't feel like worship me at my feet. I don't like false idols. I appreciate discourse. I appreciate community. So yeah, be part of the community, reach out and not touch me, but you know.
Well, I think it's all about respecting each other's boundaries though. Like that's where it's like, in my mind, a fan is someone who just like worships someone and doesn't really care about their boundaries because they're not even a real person. Like,
Oh man, I've told so many people I love their work that I'm a fan, and now they think I don't respect their boundaries.
I mean, that's my take on it.
God damn.
Like, you can say you're a
Caitlin.
fan of someone, but I think
Fan of your work.
like, yeah, you could be a fan of someone's work and that kind of thing. But I feel like,
I think there's a difference between fan and fanatic, though.
yes.
I think you're describing
Yes.
a fanatic.
Yes, I have come across some fanatics in the past, which has altered my view of, because like one of my my great aunts, her philosophy in life was never met a stranger, only met more friends. So it's like I subscribe to that. Like, yes, you have different levels of closeness with everyone you meet. And maybe you're not going to talk about your entire life story to literally every person you come across, but like, there's no reason everyone can't be friends, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my take on all of that.
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's already said what I would say and how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what we've always
And I know fan and fanatic are the same word, but I think they have very different meanings in their
context
usage.
and,
Yes.
I mean, we at Nerd On, when we got super clear about what we were doing here, because I mean, I think in the first year we were kind of just sussing out what we do here, just the workflow, so to speak. And then I think in the second year, we all sat down and got very clear of what Nerd On actually is, and something that we all really
It's going to be fun for the audio fans.
Yeah.
going towards or found ourselves really drawn to was this idea of community. And the Discord really is that kind of thing where it's like, it is a place. I'm not always active, but I see the Discord as like, it's the community. Like that's,
I mean, especially during a pandemic, it's like
yeah,
the way to go.
our Discord has tripled in the pandemic, and it really is such a that's for me. I mean, yeah, I hope that answers the question. I apologize if it doesn't, but everybody's already kind of said what I would say.
Don't worry, Josh. It was long and beautiful.
That
Just
was
like
really
you.
long.
No,
Beautiful.
all good. So last question.
You don't know what I think, Tom?
Nope. Go ahead.
No, I don't actually have anything. I just wanted to.
Just wanted to get
'cause
upset.
You hopped in a little bit and you talked about it.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be the last one, and I wish we could answer more of the questions in the chat. Please put more questions if you'd like, and we can answer
We'll save them. We'll save them.
next week. But this last question is, this is out of my realm, so I would love to hear you guys.
Sure.
This is also from Talon of the Dragon. You're in the chat. I love it. Okay, so official question: is anyone else excited for Starfield?
Yes.
So I don't know what Starfield is, and let me
I don't
explain
either.
it for the layman.
Go for it.
So I'm just reading it off the Google. Starfield is Bethesda's first original RPG in 25 years, and is set in space. Almost 3 years after it was announced that it's almost everything we know about mysterious project that studio has been talking about internally for a decade.
I mean, I'm excited for Bethesda to be like since it's their first original in so long. I'm super excited. I will admit that I'm a Bethesda fanboy. I love their games. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm interested because they are basically in the news that I've been reading lately is that they're pushing hard for it to come out this year in 2021. So
It looks wild. I mean, I think it's going to be. If you haven't seen the trailer, go watch the trailer. It's just a teaser trailer, but woo.
ooh boy.
For
I'll
me
totally
as
check
a
it out.
gamer, I'm into everything. I don't hate things in terms of games unless I find it very scummy and toxic community. Like I don't like being called like racist words on the internet. I don't think anyone should have to deal with that. I'm talking to you, all you children with your potty mouths on Call of Duty. No, yeah, I mean, most games, it's like, sure, why not? Like, the storytelling in games and also immersion and world building and agency is just wonderful. But it just depends if there's going to be another game that comes out. Like, Cyberpunk 2077 never came out for me because I had a PS4 and my PC also can't play it. So, like, will that game come out for me? Well, I don't know.
I mean, I just want to say something to B-Rad's comment in the chat. Praying it's not going to be exclusive. Based on my news last week, most likely it will.
Yeah.
They said
Unfortunately,
all
I know that
future
there's been
things-
some reports that Xbox or Microsoft has funded the rest of the project Starfield, meaning they probably in their contract to get the funding had to say this will be an exclusive, unfortunately.
Which is fine. Like, look, people who have Xbox and Game Pass, I think you could also Game Pass it up on PC. So
Yeah.
enjoy it, have fun, like do your thing. But if it doesn't come out for me, it doesn't come for me. But I'm excited.
Exclusivity.
Sure. Like,
The exclusivity wars are like happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
I still want to play Halo games. I just don't have a console.
Yeah.
So that's it.
But
Great.
That's it. That has been this week's Nerd On Update. Thank you so much for everybody sending in their questions. Thank you to the people that are in chat submitting their questions. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you all. If you are new to Nerd On, check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all of the information on everything that we do. We do a lot. We have several different podcasts that we do. So check that out. We are literally on every single podcast app. If we're not, let me know. Because I will make sure that we are there. Check out that website. Share us with your friends, your family. Rate and review us. When people come in and they go to their favorite app that has ratings and reviews, and they see other people rating and reviewing it gives them something to go on. And that's what one of my favorite podcasters kind of showed me is to remind you that kind of stuff helps other listeners see that, yeah, I should be listening to this. So
And it's free.
It's free. It is totally free. So stop by, do that. It helps us. Subscribe where you like to listen or watch. Here on Twitch, over on YouTube, wherever you're at. But yeah, that has been the Nerd On Update. You know the drill. As always, Nerd On.